Welcome, everyone. Welcome if this is your first roundtable. Welcome if this is your 10th roundtable. I am Leanne Reagan, and I am so pleased to have you here. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for putting learning in the center of your day today and being open to learning some new things. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me and see me okay. Let me know there if you can hear me and see me okay. I am the, thank you. I'm the founder of the Roundtable. We've been running for, more than 13 years now. It's a long time. So thank you for being here. I'm happy to say that today is a topic that was requested by a roundtable member. So you can know that I am really open to your suggestions for which topics you'd like to have each month. So be sure to share those in the chat, or you can drop me an email. So today we're going to talk about working with all kinds of people, and yes, even the difficult ones. So I've put together a roundtable on simple skills for real world teams. Specifically, we're going to talk about the best strategy for the best outcome with my R&R technique. We're going to use a 3S filter, actually, which I expanded to 5 S's to help you spot which type of team member, especially if you're struggling, what type of team member you're dealing with. And then we'll go through 7 tools. So know that, by the way, this is being recorded. So you'll get all of the resources. I'll talk more about that in just a second. Also, if you are a UN team staff member, you can count this towards your professional development. And also know that once you registered, you automatically became a member of our roundtable. So a special welcome if this is your first roundtable, and know that you'll automatically get access to not just today's resources, but all of the resources. Also, just a little side note, couple of housekeeping things before we dive in. If you've had a day already, or a week, or a year, and English is not your first language and you're just a little dragging there, know that you can turn on closed captions. So you can just go to the toolbar and turn on closed captions in one of, I think, about 35 languages. And we don't have to agree. We can have 35 different languages running. So if that would help you get the most out of your day today, feel free to do that. Uh, so I want to again welcome you. And I also kind of want to shush you. So, there's a lot going on in the world right now. There's a lot going on in everyone's lives. So, if you find yourself drifting a little bit, if you're thinking about that report you've got to write, or what you're going to have for dinner tonight, or are you going to sleep well tonight because you didn't have a good sleep last night, whatever might be drawing your attention away, just feel to shush that little voice and really give yourself the gift of presence and be with us here today and focused. So again, if your attention is trying to drag you away, just shush that little voice. Also know that this is one of many things that I do. So if you are interested in talking to me about a workshop for you and your team, I'm just sharing my workshop catalog in the chat there. So feel free to take a peek and reach out to me if you're interested and want to talk. Okay, a couple more things before we dive in, because I really, you could be doing a lot of different things, and you graced us with your presence here today. So I really want to make sure this is a good use of your time. So please participate. Put comments and questions in the chat. Know that based on member request, I created a LinkedIn group for the roundtable, so you can join that if you wish. If Facebook is more your thing, we also have a Learning and Development Roundtable Facebook group. And also, I love, love, love. I don't charge for the roundtable. I really want to keep this open to anyone who's interested in learning and growing and developing. So please feel free to share that joining link with one or two of your colleagues. I would really appreciate that. Also, members have mentioned that they want to get the resources as fast as possible. You will get the audio recording, the video recording, and the workbook. Those will come to you on Monday. However, members said, Leanne, we want to get stuff earlier. Pardon me. So, based on your feedback, you will actually get the PowerPoint deck the second that we end the roundtable today. So, that will come in an hour and a half. And then on Monday, you'll get the rest of the resources there. Also, two more things before we jump in. I'm doing a public speaking course for UN staff. It's going to be in May, and the dates will be announced soon. So if you are a UN staff, you don't have to be a UN staff to be here. But if you are, please reach out to UNON HR Learning. I put the details in the chat. If future you is watching this, you can look at the details down below. Also, I've had a number of people reach out to me who aren't UN staff who are interested in a public speaking workshop. So I'm just putting my email in the chat. If you're not a UN staff and you're interested in finding out more about a public speaking course that I give, just drop me an email and I'll let you know. I think that course will be in April next month sometime. So check that out. Okay. And then finally, again, you've got a lot on the go. So I really want this to be a helpful, practical, engaging experience for our time together. And I really want you to be able to make a difference and apply what you're learning. So get that learning to leave our Zoom room, right? Make a difference after we finish today. Pardon me. So I alternate some different worksheets. Today it's our to do to done, and I've put a link to that in the chat. If you want to use it to help you remember and use what you're learning, feel free to do that. And as soon as you download, you click on the link and download it, you can edit that sheet. Okay, so it's your turn. Let me know, where are you right now? So, where are you geographically? You can answer that. Where are you in your headspace? Sorry, I'm a bit froggy. Okay, so Natalia's in Nairobi. Oh, I just finished living 14 years in Nairobi. Miss it there. Geneva. Emily's coming in from Geneva. Lygia's in France. Oh, I'm in the Dordogne, Lygia. I'm in France as well. Diana's Lebanon. Oh, stay safe. Stay well. Okay. Nairobi, Jordan. Hi, Takashi. Oh, it's nice to have you here. Okay, great. Well, wherever this finds you in the world and whatever time of day it is for you, thank you for showing up. I'd love to know, you'll see if you registered at least 24 hours ahead of time, you would have got the agenda and also some prompts to help you get ready. So I'd love to know, what are some qualities of your favorite team member? So we don't need any names. I'm not looking at names of for folks, but what are some qualities of team members that really shine, that really, things that make someone a really good team member? What are some of those qualities? So let me know in the chat, what makes someone a good team member? Because, of course, your experience on a team is going to vary depending on how you define a good team member. Okay, so Ligia, oh, by the way, if I'm mispronouncing anyone's name, just send me a DM or let me know in the chat. Okay, so we've got lots coming here. These are great. So collaboration. Oh, we're going to talk about more. I've got a very specific tool for that today. So collaboration, someone that shares, good listening skills, capacity to synthesize complex information. Oh, I love that, Emily. Reliability, says Ramses. Hi, Ramses. Natalia says open, friendly, professional. Padma C says, always ready to help and collaborate. Okay, so two collaborations we've got. And Diana says, responsive, committed, collaborative. So collaboration's a big thing, and a friend. Okay, nice. Okay, and conversely, the opposite, what are the qualities of a not so good team member? So we don't want any names. Don't put, don't put any names in the chat. But if someone is not a good team member, what qualities would they have? Let me know in the chat. And I'm guessing you're bringing to mind some specific, hopefully you've had good experience. So you've got some good team members that you can think of, and maybe you have some team members that haven't been as um, productive to work with, that have made you bite your tongue and gird your loins. Okay, so we've got Diana, not trustful. Padma says saying not sharing information, not willing to connect. Legia says not sharing information. Yes. Christine, not committing to their word. Nancy, impatient and secretive. So lots about trust and share, not sharing and secretive. Okay. Ramsey's not being open about their challenges. Oh, I love that. So one is not being open and then specifically about your challenges. Ramsey's, that's great. Natalia, absent-minded, ready to fight over minor issues. Right. Yeah. People who pick a battle over everything. Okay. Well, let's see if we can look at some ways to identify, as I mentioned, what kind of team member you're dealing with, some strategies, and then some very specific tools to help you really build your team and have things flying instead of flunking. Okay, are you ready to dive in? Give me a thumbs up. Are you ready to dive into these topics? Or if you have any questions, just let me know too. Okay. Oh. Okay, great. Uh, oops. Zoom has changed a setting, and my one of the things sometimes grows bigger on my screen where I don't want it to. Okay, so I have a little bit of a challenge for you, but don't let your blood pressure get out of control. It's not a huge challenge, just something to hopefully get you curious and connected here. So, how many circles, if any, do you see there on the slide? So, how many circles, if any, do you see? So, and you can put your number in the chat there. And if you're watching this after the fact, not in real time, you can just think to yourself, how many circles do you see, if any? Okay, so Emily says 16. Great. 11 says Ramses. Okay, Padma says none. Nancy says none. Magia says two. Look, we have how many answers so far? One, two, three, four, five, and only two the same answer, right? Which is my point, right? So the benefit of working on a team is all of these different perspectives, right? You go through the world with a certain viewpoint, a certain perspective based on your culture, based on your upbringing, based on your personality, all those kinds of things. Diana also sees none. Okay. And the benefit of a team when a team is working well is that there's always another way to look at something, right? So especially, high functioning teams, when you hit a conflict, high functioning teams can get out of those conflicts easier, more productively because of those different perspectives. So I'm just going to turn on my annotation here. Uh, and I'll just draw a circle here so you can see, or I'll just put a little check mark. So here's the center. By the way, when I annotate I don't know why, but Zoom says turn off video. So you can see these circles here. So I'm putting the check mark roughly in the middle of the circles. So there's 16 there. And there's also this circle and this circle and this circle and down here and the handles of the scissor and hi, folks. I'm so sorry the internet gods decided to somehow turn off the I don't know what happened there. Okay, sorry, folks. Just give me a second and I'll bring us back. Uh, okay, hang on here. I'm just going to share the screen again. Um, Thank you for your patience. I appreciate it. As I bring you back, we'll have the screen back in just a second. Okay, there we go. Okay, thank you for your patience. Just give me a thumbs up. Can you hear me and see me okay? The great. Thank you, Emily. I appreciate that. Okay. It completely died there for a second. Okay, and let me just check that we're still recording. Yes. Okay, great. Okay, so there was lots of circles there if you chose to, if you had some time to look around. And the point being that there's always another way, right? There's always more options than we initially think, particularly when we're dealing with troubled teams. Sometimes we can think, oh, I have no options, I have no choices, but there's always more options. So today is about options and choices. Okay. Oh, Padma is saying the images you marked are not circles, but cylinders, right? I agree with the O though. Padma say, I love you're just proving my point about different perspectives. I've never had that comment before. I've used this image in a lot of workshops to show to teach about different things, and no one's ever said that, right? So what a lovely way of putting in action the benefit of different perspectives. And Ramsey says, I did not see the circles in the image, but I was counting the letter O's and even counting Leanne's glasses. Oh, Ramsey's, no one's ever said the glasses before. I love that. Okay, great. So so let's dig in, right? We're going to talk first about my R and R technique, right? But before we do that, sort of a lead into that, most of us have a particular um, response that we default to when we're in conflict. So for some of us, it might be fight. Play this very quick clip. Isn't that amazing? Oh, so I get these deep sea videos on my feed and I just find them fascinating, right? So some of us, our first reaction when we're dealing with a team member or an entire team that we're having conflict with by fighting. Fighting doesn't mean physical, but it could mean debating, up in arms, antagonistic, etc. Some of us, our very first instinctual response might be to
I'm running
flee.
away again. Good night, James. I love you.
Dots, we're not doing this again. Come on, man. Get back in the
Then
house.
you don't love me no more.
I didn't say I didn't love you. I said quit doing the oh yeah.
Same thing, and you say it weird.
I don't say...
It's like, oh, yeah.
Dawson, come on. I told you not to say it. Get back in the house. We're not...
So this little boy, a little person, is running away, right? So some of us might literally leave the room, or we might just check out, right? When we face a conflict. Some of us might freeze. So, like this little critter here, right? right? So we hit a conflict and we just freeze. Our brain functioning stops, right? Our brains are not there. And some of us might fawn. So let me know in the chat if you know what fawn means when it comes to fight, flee, freeze, and fawn.
I want to sit inside. Do you want to sit outside?
Yeah, I wanted to sit outside, but do you want to sit inside?
No, we can sit outside if you want to sit outside.
But you want to sit inside though, right?
Let's sit outside. You know what? I'll get a jacket from the car and then we'll sit outside.
No, why don't you sit inside?
Okay, and you sit out.
Okay, so this is the fourth one. We've got fight, flee, freeze, and fawn. Fawn are people pleasers, right? Oh, don't worry about me. It's okay. Oh, yeah, La Ligia. This is one that's not well known, but it's basically if when there's a conflict, if when something is not going well, your instinctual response is to deny your own needs because you want to please the other person. So don't worry about me. Whatever you want, it's okay. Don't worry. No, I'm fine. I'm totally fine. No, no, no. I am really not fine, but I just want to please the other person. Okay, so one of the things is to be able to recognize your common response. Now, of course, it depends on the conflict, but many of us have a common default, right? We want to put our virtual dukes up and argue and debate. We want to leave, we freeze, or we people please, right? That fawning. So I'm going to turn on. I'm just going to put on a poll. You just give me a second here. And this is anonymous. So I'm just going to turn this on. You'll be able to see it on your screen. And just let me know, this is not a scientific poll. It's anonymous. But when you think, particularly in the work setting, what is your first response? Is it to fight? I don't mean physical. I mean to argue, to defend, to debate. Is it to flee? You physically leave or you check out. You're physically there, but mentally you're gone. Is it to freeze? Like you just really sort of panic. That can be a trauma response, by the way. Or fawn. Is it to people please? Oh, we have a clear there's one that's really out in the lead. I'll show you the responses so far. uh, there's one that no one has chosen so far, which is interesting. So I'll give you just a couple more seconds and then I'll show you the answers. I'll put this in the workbook as well. You'll be able to see. Okay. So I'm going to take a quick screen grab of the answers and then I'll give you a little drum roll. Oh, actually there's someone just voted. Okay, so we actually have at least one of each. Okay, let me take another screen grab of that updated one, and then I will show you the answers. Which one do you think before I do that, actually, which one do you think is most common? It doesn't mean that this is right. There's no right response here. Each of these have their pros and cons, right? But which one do you think is most popular? There's one that's really out in the lead. Ligia says fight. Here we go. So I'm going to end the poll and then I'll show you the results. Ligia, you are right. Yeah, so 55% of you said fight, 27% of you said flee, and for each of the other two, for freeze and fawn, that was 9% each. Okay, so you can imagine if we're all on a team together and we have these variety of common responses, that's going to cause some conflict in itself, right? No matter what the actual conflict is about. Okay, so the important thing here is to know your typical common response so that you can stop that response. And I call this pause before the claws come out, right? So we want to put some time in there. We want to put a pause in there so that you can reflect and review, right? That's the R&R technique. And it's as simple, it's simple to explain, right? To put that pause in there before you respond. But it's difficult to do, right? Because your brain is telling you to fight, flee, freeze, or fawn. But if you can put some a pause in there, everything's going to change. So that's our next piece is how to put that pause in there and have a more measured response. But any questions before we move on? And if you're ready to go to the next section here, which is this 3S filter, just give me a thumbs up. But if you have a question or a comment or a resource to share, I know there's lots of brilliant brains in the group here. You've got lots of great lived experience. Okay. Okay, then let's talk about this 3S filter. So we've got our strategy. We know what our typical, our most common response is. We know that before that response, we need to insert the other R's of review and reflect and then respond. So now we want to talk about looking at what kind of team member are you dealing with, because that will help you with a more measured response. So, and I know this might be a little difficult for some of you if you're on a phone or a smaller screen, but what I'd like you to do, I'm going to give you 1 minute, and I'd like you to not. You can annotate the screen if you want. It's probably easier just to find as many numbers as you can in order. So you'll see one is already circled. So when I say go, find two and then three and then four and then five, etc., and go as fast as you can. Again, you're going to have 1 minute. Any questions other than why the heck are we doing this, Leanne? But is that task clear? You can see one on the screen. I want you to find two and then three and then four, etc. Any questions? Okay, then begin. You've got 1 minute. Go, 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 as fast as you can, as many numbers as you can. Go, 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 go. Okay, you're halfway there. Keep going. You got this. Time's just about up. 10 seconds left. And stop. Good job. Good job. Okay. Um, Someone just joined us and might be thinking, what the heck are we doing? So we're about to talk about my 3S filter. And we just did an exercise about finding as many numbers as you can in chronological order. I'm going to ask you to do the same task one more time. This time it has a little, you'll notice there's something different. So again, start with finding one in a second when I say go. You're going to have 1 minute. Do the same task, find as many numbers as you can in 1 minute. And here's the slightly different screen. Go. You've got 1 minute. You can see one. Now find two, three, four, etc. Got 1 minute to find as many numbers as you can. Mm. You're doing great. You're halfway there. This is the last time. See if you can beat your last number. 15 seconds left. Go, 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 go. 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and stop. Good job. Okay, how many numbers did you get the first time and the second time? Like, was there a difference? So feel free to put those in the chat. Um, and while you're doing that, Diana, sorry, I just wanted to respond to an earlier comment that I missed. I'm not sure why you couldn't see the poll. I don't actually know if it makes a difference being on your phone. But sorry about that. But the answers will be in the workbook, so you can look at it there. Okay, so we've got lots. We got 20 versus 26, 12 and 21. So big differences. 22 and 20, interesting, lower the second time. 19 and 28, 18 and 33, 30 and 42. Okay, did anybody find the pattern in the second one? Actually, it was actually in the first one too, but I made it a little bit more obvious in the second one. So did anybody see the pattern? Padma say someone's giving you some shout out there for your Chloe just saw it. That's great. Good for you, Chloe. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to turn on the annotation here. And so if you did see the pattern, if you went into this quadrant first, and then this one, and then this one, and then this one, and then back up to this one, right? So the pattern always went in that direction. So instead of having to look in the entire quadrant, or in the entire sheet rather, if you discovered the pattern, you just need to look in one quadrant at a time. Let me just erase that. Okay, so that leads us to our first S, right? Our first S, which is spotting the pattern. By the way, I took a whole bunch of research to put together this content. I've kind of, the S part of it, the 3S is mine, but I'll give you all of those resources in a second. So if you can, particularly when you're working in a team that's not functioning well, is to look for patterns, right? Patterns make everything easier, right? So what is going on instead of responding in that second, try to step back and see, are there any patterns happening here? So for example, here's two different patterns, pattern A and pattern B. So pattern A, if someone's acting from ego, they're insecure, they have actual malintent, their behavior, and you mentioned this, some of you mentioned this at the beginning, taking credit, deflecting blame. They can be charming publicly, but undermining privately. They can dominate, dismiss others, and they can leave you feeling exhausted, right? Exhausted, confused, doubting yourself, and feeling the need to protect yourself. Pattern B, and there's lots of different patterns. These are just two examples. And by the way, you may want to think of some teams you've been part of, maybe your current team. And does pattern A speak to anybody on your team? And pattern B, does it speak to anybody on your team? So pattern B, they're acting from good intention, right? They're secure, their behavior, they have good communication. Someone mentioned that before. They have good conflict resolution skills. They can collaborate. That was the thing that came up the most, I think, when you talked about qualities of a good, healthy, functioning team member was collaboration. They encourage you, they build you up, and they leave you feeling energized and clear and confident and able and with an ability to be genuine. Can you recognize any team members there? Again, no names, but does this resonate with you? Does this land for you? This is the first S, right? The first S, again, is spot that pattern. Okay. The second S is self-protection. right, is self-protection. So if you are in a situation with a difficult team member or team members, and by the way, again, this was a suggestion. This topic was suggested by a Learning and Development Roundtable member. So I would really love to hear if you have other suggestions of topics. Is to really, if you have spotted that pattern, it's a negative pattern. You can't fix this by overfunctioning. It just doesn't work, right? This notion of pausing before your claws come out is even more important to really name it. Something is off here, right? Something is off here. To slow your breath, right? To bring you, to calm those. Our brains are trying to get us to flee, freeze, fawn, etc., and fight. So even a simple breath for 1 minute, that is a hugely helpful technique. um, Ask yourself, what outcome is this behavior looking for, right? What is the outcome of that behavior trying to create? Try to shift from reaction to observation. You are not too sensitive. Also, it's being confused is a signal, right? If you're working on this team and you're like, "Whoa, I can't even find up and down. Things are so confusing." That's a signal that something's off, right? And getting clarity is power. Okay, so we've got spot the pattern, we've got self-protection. We have another S, which is safety, right? So if you are dealing with team members they're bullies, they're antagonistic, really, something is really, really off, try to be a neutral mirror, right? So repeat their content. I love this suggestion. And again, I'll give you where all this came from soon. Not the tone, right? So if someone is using a bullying tone, you can mirror them and say, "So I understand you have an issue with the report, section 3, is that correct?" But you're using a very neutral tone, right? No emotion, no debate, repeating without escalation, moving away from personalities towards purpose. So I understand that we have a stakeholder report due tomorrow morning, um, and that we're all working together to meet that deadline, right? So you're looking at the purpose, not the personality. For example, for the sake of the project timeline and shared accountability, we need clarity on roles. Okay, there's a couple of other ones, including sand. There's one to do with sand. Is this landing? Do you have any questions? We've done 3 so far. There's a couple of more, 2 more. Let me know. Any questions in the comments? Otherwise, you can give me a thumbs up as a signal of, yep, keep going, Leanne. But if you have questions, just let me know. Okay, great. I'm getting thumbs up. Okay, so the next one, we've got spot the pattern, self-protection, safety, and then systems. So I like this. I like this one because it helps look at the bigger picture, right? Our brains can want us to really, really narrowly focus, right? Really, really, really focus. And this pulls us back to look at the system. So the system matters more than than managing the personality, right? And looking at how is the overall team doing, right? Putting things in writing becomes really important. Clarifying ownership, using agendas, timekeeping, summarizing agreements, and having consulted with the UN for many, many years. I think this is a key one too, and with lots of other organizations, is CC emails strategically, not emotionally. Right. Okay. So that's our fourth one. And then the fifth one has to do with sand. Any guesses why the fifth one has to do with sand? This is my name for it, not the researchers. And again, I'll share the research in just a sec. But we've got spot the pattern, self-protection, safety systems. Oh, Pat Marseille is let it go. Kind of, kind of. Good guess. Take the shape of the container. Oh, Diana, that's so good. Oh, okay. So, um, it's actually the opposite of this in this case, but I love that notion of really trying to be as flexible without violating boundaries. So that's so good. Okay, well oh, Emily's saying sand wouldn't be sand without all the grains. Together we do more. Oh, you guys are poets. This is lovely. Okay, well, in this case, I've used sand as a way of talking about boundaries, right? So in the moment of the conflict, when our brains are trying to convince us we only have one of four options, which is fight, free, flee, fawn, right? Like our brain is really trying to protect us, but it really shuts down and narrows the perspective instead of opening things up. So ahead of time, if you draw your line in the sand, in other words, if you know your boundary, so where are you willing to flex? Where are you willing to take the shape of the container, as Diana so poetically said? And where are you not? What would violate your morals, your ethics, it just doesn't work for you, right? So if you know that ahead and have some examples prepared, that can be very helpful. So let me just move my little camera here. Uh, so two examples are, I'm not available for side conversations. Let's bring this back to the large group, right? So that could help with potentially some gossiping, etc. A second example is that doesn't work for me. Here's what does work for me, right? I love that. It's clear, it's sharp, it's simple. Okay, so before we take a pause and get into the tips, we've covered the 5 S's. So I expanded it from the original 3, which is spot the pattern, super helpful, right? Get your head up, look at those patterns, protect yourself, look at safety issues, the bigger picture of the systems, and draw your line in the sand. Right. And really try to reduce the pressure on yourself, right? You don't need to diagnose people to respond skillfully. I don't know about you, anyone else in the group, but I'm not a psychologist. Or a psychiatrist. This isn't about specific personality diagnoses. It's about trying to move forward and continue to do really great work. You don't need to confront to be strong, and you don't need to sacrifice your well-being to serve the work, right? To achieve your purpose. But I mentioned that I would share the resources. So this is kind of an amalgamation of these folks here. So this is George Simon's work, Brene Brown work, Nedra Glover, Tawab. Oh, she's so good. If you have a chance to look up any of her work. Judith Herman, Amy Ebenson, Robert Sutton, and the Harvard Program on Negotiation, and Adam Grant. Okay, let's just take a pause. That's a lot, a lot, a lot. We talked about your natural response, what happens automatically, and then how to put some time in there to actually really reflect and review, and then some ways that you can actually do that reflection and review. Comments, questions? Let's just take a breath before we go into I've got some 7 skills to help you build up healthy, functioning teams that hit it out of the park. While you're thinking about if you have any questions, just a reminder, I would really, really, really appreciate it if you find value in our time together to share the membership link. I love growing our community, so please feel free to do that. The link is in the chat, and if future you is watching this, the link is down below. And also, again, this is based on a member request. Our next roundtable is April the 16th, and it's all about now. Watch, don't let your blood pressure get out of control with these words. But I'm calling it From Generic to Genius, leveraging AI to customize your learning. So if your blood pressure's just gone all spiky, goes, AI, I'm so overwhelmed. I promise it's going to be fun. I'm going to keep it simple and engaging and really helpful. So if you want to learn more about AI, specifically how to use it for your own learning, I've got some really cool stuff. And then also, one of the things I do is is my Transformative Trainers Academy. So if you are a subject matter expert and you need to design a course, you need to design a workshop, the Transformative Trainers Academy is a place where global change makers come together. It's an online membership. And oh, if I do say so myself, it's a really sweet spot. So feel free. I put the link in the chat there. If you're interested, you can email me or check out that link. Also, I'm just responding to a question. Thanks, Emily. You shared your references, but would you recommend a podcast that would address the topics that you address, like one of today? Oh, um, that's a great question. Let me think. I do know, so Brene Brown has lots of podcasts. And Adam Grant, Adam Grant has lots. He's what's it called? Think something think. His podcasts are excellent. So yeah, I would suggest look up Brene Brown or Adam Grant. Thank you for that question. I appreciate it. Thanks, Mohammed. Okay, so we've got that slice of time in there to stop you from reacting just off the bat with your fight, freeze, free, fawn. And we've got those 5 S's. You're welcome, Emily. Give me a thumbs up if you're ready to talk about some tools, right? Some really simple tools to really help build up high functioning teams that can knock it out of the park. Okay, great. Now, uh, all of these tools are going to be in the workbook. I'll also share links where appropriate, where applicable, rather, in the chat. You just to manage expectations, you won't have time to use all these tools right now. I'm just going to give you as much information, hopefully, as you need to be able to use them down the road. So we're not going to apply each of these tools, but you should have enough information to be able to use them. And again, I'll give you all the links where applicable. Okay, so before we jump in to these 7 tools, I really want to stress a couple of really important caveats. And one is approach humans with curiosity. There's a huge difference between me approaching a team member and assuming malintent and assuming that they're just a horrible, awful, terrible, no good, very bad human being, and approaching with curiosity, right? So asking questions, what's going on here? Like that will get you very, very far in terms of if you approach with an open mind and not a closed mind. And then this is not a very popular one because we focus so much on the work and not on the dynamics, but the team dynamics affect the work and it takes time and it takes work. I really like I've used this for years. If you remember when you were young and learning this math concept of greater than and less than. So if you just put a little thing here. So if you don't spend very much time, and by the way, my camera goes off when I annotate, right? So if you start off on a team not paying very much attention to team dynamics, what happens later is you spend a lot of time on team dynamics because things will slow you down. People don't know each other. They have different conflict resolution styles, different communication styles, and it just takes a lot more time later on. Versus if you're proactive and you spend some more time on team dynamics, then later on you can hum, right? It doesn't take as much time because you know each other and you're working well together. So I love that little notion of greater than, less than, right? So I know people are so pressed for time, but if you think of it like insurance, like making an investment, if you invest in your team, you're going to spend much less time later on dealing with misunderstandings and conflict, etc. Okay, so let's dig into the 7 tools. So one, this is a diagnostic tool. And it's called the will or skill tool. Some of you might have seen this before. It's so helpful. So if you have a difficult, maybe the team is struggling, maybe an individual is struggling, if you diagnose this, is it an issue of will, meaning motivation, finding some meaning in the task? Is the person willing? Are they motivated to do this work and be part of this team? And or is it an issue of skill? So then you put those two things together and you get 4 quadrants. So if the person is unwilling, then it becomes an issue of motivation, right? And I've got a tool for that coming up, right? If it's an issue of skill, then it becomes an issue of training, right? Capacity development, learning and development. So if you have someone, for example, who has low will but high skill, then you need to work on their motivation. If you have another example is if you have someone with high will, high motivation, and high skill, that's where you want to get everyone to, right? So you focused on learning and development and you focused on motivation. Okay, so that's our first tool, right? If you hit a roadblock, you hit a bump, you're tempted to fight, freeze, flee, fawn, you can look and for yourself as well, not just your team members, but for yourself. Do I need to look at my motivation or do I need to look at my skill level? Okay, I'm going to go on to number 2, but you can stop me at any time and ask questions, offer comments. Please offer other resources. I know you're all very experienced in your field, so if you have other resources, please pop those in the chat, and I'll put them in the workbook as well. Okay, so this one, now don't report me to HR, but I call this dating your colleagues, right? So I really encourage you to date your colleagues. And what do I mean by that? Let me just take you back to a little story. I was working with someone who I didn't know very well, and we were pitching to a client, quite a large project. And it came time, we were all ready, got everything done. And the meeting for the client started, and the person was not on the call and hadn't told me that they were going to be late, and just no show, no notice. Like I had no idea what was coming on, or what was happening rather. And about, I think, 10 or 15 minutes into the meeting, the person came onto the call, but didn't have the link to the deck. And it was just a gong show. And all the while, I'm trying to appear together and calm, and I'm just fuming inside. So that experience, when I reflected on it, made me think, you might know this Eisenhower grid. What we're talking about are things that are really important but not urgent, right? Building up your team, really focusing on your communication, your conflict resolution, your collaboration skills. That quadrant of really important but not urgent is the hardest one to get into because it's not urgent. It's really, oh, we'll do that next week. Oh, we'll do that next month. Oh, we'll do that next year, right? But that's when the conflict starts to crop up, and the lack of communication and collaboration, because you don't know each other well, and those things start to clash. So I created these 2 sets of cards for you to date your colleagues, and notice that the air quotes, of course, but they're just really fun questions One are there's two links there. One are to sort of personal, like non-work related questions, and the other link is focused on professionally based, like questions based on your work. So you may wish to print those off or at a staff meeting, just answer one or two of those questions at the beginning of every staff meeting, right? Simple, simple, simple. Okay, so we've got our first tool, which is it will or is it skill? We've got our second tool, right? Dating your colleagues. And then the third tool here is something that I designed. This is based on National Geographic research, and it's about knowing what motivates you and your team members. So there's all sorts of resources. I'll share these with you, and they'll be in your workbook. So please don't get overwhelmed. Like, Leanne, you're putting too many links in the chat. It's all going to be in one place in the workbook. So, but for those of you who want them right away. So you can take a survey, which will identify which of these 6 styles is your motivation style. And there's also a worksheet that can help you get some ideas to motivate styles that are different from you. Because of course, when we're motivating other people, our default is our own style, right? So this is an example of, I'm not going to go into too much detail, but you've got all the information with those 2 links there. But I will just briefly go through each of the styles. And by the way, each style has its good day and its bad day. So see, I'd love to hear in the chat which of these speak to you. And sometimes people have more than one. So as I go through them, feel free to put in the chat if this style speaks to you. So achievement, goals, to-do list, tick it off the list, cross, cross. They're really focused on achievement. On a bad day, they can work themselves and other people too hard. Don't take a break. Don't you know we gotta work, 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 right? So that's a bad day. Power, those are our leaders, right? So those are the people who like to have a leadership position. On a bad day, I don't need to tell you, people can abuse their power, right? So on a bad day, they can misuse that power. Affiliation, those are our people who like to get together, to be social, to work as part of a team. They naturally collaborate. That's their motivation. On a bad day, they can be not focused on the work. So, oh, Diana, that's a really nice shirt. Where did you get it from? Chloe, you said you were going to go to a movie last weekend. How was the movie? Amelie, I heard that your mom was sick. Is she doing okay? Like, meanwhile, there's a very urgent thing that's due in the next 2 hours, but they're focused on socializing, right? Pardon me, folks. I'm just, for those of you who I just used your names, that was just an example. Autonomy. Those are the folks who like to do it on their own. Thank you very much. Right? So they are self-motivated, head down, focus, focus, focus. On a bad day, they're focused on this task, but they haven't realized that everyone's made a left turn. Right? So on a bad day, they haven't got their head up and collaborated with other people. So they're actually not working on the right thing. External, these are the folks that are motivated by something that's outside of them. It could be their supervisor, their team, their family, their spiritual or religious leader, their community. It's something outside of them. On a bad day, and I'm just making this up here. Legia, did you see that shirt that Nancy was wearing? Like, that's not a designer shirt. And oh, Takashi, did you see the car that Padmerse is driving? Like, oh, what a clunker. Like, I'm just making this up clearly, but really making judgments based on external things like clothing and cars, like things that don't matter, right? They're just external. So that's external on a bad day. Okay, and then finally, future. Future are folks who are motivated by something in the long term. So, eradicating gender-based violence, uplifting people in urban settlements, eradicating poverty, eradicating AIDS and HIV, whatever the issue is, right? On a bad day, they're like our achievement folks, right? Natalia, get back to work. Don't you know the planet is burning? We can't afford to take any time off. Work, 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 work. Okay, so those are the six styles. Very briefly, you can get more information. You can take the survey. That will link you to a blog post with more information and then also that worksheet. So, do any of those styles speak to you? Do you think, oh, okay, I think, if I had to guess, I think I'm this style? Let me know in the chat. For me, I'll let you in on a little secret while you're thinking about it. For me, it's achievement. Oh, like a way to reduce my stress is always, always, always having a to-do list, like and checking things off. Oh, feels so good. Okay, so we have Chloe is future, Padmercy is achievement. Okay, Ligia is saying they're clear. Amelie is future. Great. So imagine you will automatically, this is how we bring it to a team setting, you will, without even thinking about it, unconsciously, you will motivate other people how you like to be motivated. You'll do that without thinking about it. The challenge is that, for example, if I'm trying to motivate someone who likes autonomy, they want to work on their own, and I'm like, come on, come join us, do this thing, be involved. Like, I don't want you to be on your own. I don't want you to feel left out. They're already going to be irritated because for them, it's not feeling left out. They just like to work on their own. Oh, Christine's asking for the link to the survey. Sure. So I'll give you two links here. Um, if you're watching this video later on, all the links will be down below. So I've given you two links. One is there's a worksheet. So once you've taken the survey, it will help you look at other motivation styles, and then the survey's there. By the way, I collate all these styles. Which one do you think by a landslide is there's two actually, two really, really they take up like 2/3 of the responses. Any guesses which two? This is like surveying, this is more than 1,000 people. And it doesn't mean it's right or wrong. It's just this is for the people that are taking this survey in my circle. These are the two things. Yeah, Ligia, yeah, achievement. It's the second most popular. Yeah. And can anyone guess what the most popular? And they were so close. They're like less than a percentage off. Anyone guess what the second most popular? Or sorry, the most popular one is? So achievement is the second. It had over 33% of the responses. Yes, Emily, future. Yeah, more than 34%. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so that is tool number three. Can I have your permission to go ahead to continue? Just give me a thumbs up, or if you have questions. Yeah, okay, great. Okay, for this one, before I tell you what the tool is, I want to, I would invite you to imagine that I've just placed a machine in front of you. Okay, so you've got this machine sitting on your desk or the table, wherever you are, and you don't know what this machine does, right? The caveat is that it can't hurt you. There's nothing you can do to this machine that will hurt you. I would like you to figure out of these three responses, which I'm putting in the chat. Let me know in the chat which one would you be most likely to do. So your goal is to use this machine, to figure out how to use it. So would you be more likely to ask someone to explain? So to bring over a colleague and say, hey, how do I use this thing? Would you be more likely to read the instruction manual? So there's an instruction manual nearby. Or would you be more likely to start pushing buttons, like just dig in and experiment for yourself? So let me know. You've got this machine in front of you. You've never seen it before. It can't hurt you. How would you, and it's important that you figure out how to use it. So what would you do? Okay, so Emily would read the manual. Ligia would ask someone to explain. Padmase would be ask someone to explain. Learn from others who are already there. And they've done that. That's lovely. Nancy would push the buttons. Chloe would ask someone to explain. Okay, well, this brings us to another really important tool, right? Which is how does information get into you and your team member's brain? So you will automatically do this without thinking about it. This is not a conscious thing on your part, right? One of the things that can really enhance a team is using styles that aren't just your own. So, can you make sure when you're working in your team, give people opportunity to see things? So, when you're trying to accomplish a task, use charts, use graphs, use PowerPoint decks, use pictures, use posters, right? Something for people to look at. Then, can you give people options to listen, not just to you, but also to themselves? Right. So give people a chance to speak, to watch videos, look at little listen to audio clips, right? Give people options to speak and to listen, and then give people options to do things, right? To be tactile, to jump in and do things. So based on your reaction here, I'm just going to stop the share. So I asked you, this is just for fun here. By the way, you can take lots of surveys. I have one as well. Sometimes we refer to this as our learning style, right? Are you audio, visual, or kinesthetic? That has been debunked, right? So information gets into our brains in lots of different ways. However, we powerfully believe in this. And I passionately believe the more ways that we can open ourselves to learning, the better, right? So for some of you, if I took away the PowerPoint deck and you only heard my voice, there was nothing to look at, that would be fine for those of you who are audio, and it would be not great for those of you who weren't, right? Uh, if I took away the option to put options in the chat, right? That's kinesthetic or doing. That would be hard for people, right? I gave you that worksheet to download. That's a way to be kinesthetic or do things, right? I've given you the circle, the circle worksheet, things like that. Those are for kinesthetic people who like to do things. Okay, so just for fun, in a second, I'm going to take the share off, and please put your cameras on in a second and turn your audio on. So I'm going to stop sharing in a second. Please turn your cameras on and turn your audio on. And let's just for fun, if your audio, so if it's important, if you would ask someone to explain to you how to use that machine, say heck yes when I on the count of three, so not yet. If you're visual, so sorry, if you're audio, you would have asked someone to explain, you're going to say heck yes. If you are visual, you would have looked at the instruction manual, you're going to make a funny face. Okay. And if you're kinesthetic, you would start pushing buttons. You're just going to do a little dance, right? So let me stop sharing. Okay, so turn your cameras on and unmute. So we want to hear heck yes, or a funny face, or a little shake of the shoulders. Oh, it's so nice to see everybody. Okay. Hi, Christine. Hi, Takashi. Hi, Nancy. Hi, Ligia. Padmase. Hi, Diana. Hi, Chloe. Okay, so unmute, unmute, unmute. And here we go. Have you got your, so nod your heads if you've got your, you know what you're going to do. You're going to say, heck yeah, shake your shoulders, or make a funny face. So here we go. One, two, three, go.
Heck
Heck
yes.
yes.
Thank you.
Oh, I love it. Okay, so I love the smiles. Oh, how sweet. Okay, I'm going to bring us back to the deck. So, what did you notice with that? What did you notice? Don't think about it too hard. Um, Thank you for doing that, by the way. It's so great to see everyone. Thank you. Yeah, Padma, exactly. Everyone has a different response. So the next time you're working with your team, think about how can I get my team to see, hear, and do, right? To see, hear, and do. By the way, I was teaching a training of trainers workshop one time, and one of the participants, she was so excited. This was in person. She stood up and she said, "That's what flip charts are for. I've never understood the purpose of flip charts." So, what is the style that she's not? If she didn't value flip charts, if she couldn't understand why flip charts were important, what style was she not? So, in her workshop, she was not using um, flip charts and PowerPoint decks. Visual, yes, Chloe. Yeah. So she was not visual. So she was either audio and or kinesthetic. So she was leaving out people that were visual. So in our fourth tool here, think about in your next team meeting, in the next time you're trying to do a project together, you're working on something, how can you make it seen, heard, and opportunities to do things? And by the way, whichever one you are, if you're visual, oh, your slides are going to be fantastic. Your visuals are going to be fantastic. It's the other two that you need to focus on, right? The ones that you're not. Okay, we have a couple more to do here. The next one, this I came up with this tool in grad school. So I did a Master's of Education focusing on intercultural conflict resolution. And again, there'll be more information about this in your workbook. But I came up with this tool. It's called ICU. So it's all about how to stay out of the ICU, or the critical care unit, by combining these three things. So just like with the audio, visual, and kinesthetic, most of us will have a preferred lens that we look at our team with. One of the I, the C, or the U, not all three. And our views will radically change when we look at all three of these. So, what are these three? So, one is individual. So, particularly if you're having trouble with a team member, can you look at them as an individual, right? So, what are the things that make them unique, right? Because three things are true at the same time, which are a little bit of a mind bender, which is there's never, ever, ever been anyone exactly like you in the history of the universe, and there never will be again, right? You are truly uniquely an individual. At the same time, you are a cultural being. So you share some things with some people based on your culture. And your culture can be your passport country. It can be the country you're living in if you're living away from your passport country. It can be your family culture. It can be your team culture, your organizational culture. But just as you're a unique individual, you also are a cultural being. And you also are universal. You're unless you're psychologically very, very unwell, you care about other people, right? You want to be respected, you want to be seen, you want to be heard, you want to be loved. All those three things are true at the same time. So why is this a problem? It's a problem when we leave one or two of these things out. So if we only look at the individual, then we miss the cultural things that are happening. So for example, there wouldn't be any bathrooms for handicapped people, right? If we only looked at the individual. If we only look at the cultural, oof, it's where we get into trouble, right? All blank people are good dancers, or all blank people are good at math, right? We start making cultural stereotypes. And when it gets really bad, we can be racist, right? And then if we only focus on the universal, that's when we get these platitudes. Oh, I don't see color, or everyone, we just need to get along. And oh, I just want this love and peace. And right. So when you're working with your team, make some conscious decisions to look at your team members and your team through the ICU lenses, through all three of them. So I know that's a bit of a big concept. So let me just pause. Questions on that, comments on that. The idea here is that you can end up in the ICU if you don't look through each of those I, C, and U. It's a great way of looking at options for conflict resolutions when you look through each of those three. Comments, questions? And if you're ready to go on, we've got two more tips and then closing. So if you want to continue, just give me a thumbs up if there's no questions, and we'll go on to the next tool. Okay, great. Okay, the sixth tool. This is so good. This is research from Charles Duhigg's book, Smarter, Faster, Better: The Secrets of Being Productive. Bad title. It's really more, I think, more about teams and stuff. It's a great, great book. But he talks about this research piece where there's two things that great teams have in common. Any guesses? And by the way, this is a cultural reference. This is a Dr. Seuss character, thing one and thing two. Some of you might recognize this from your childhood, and some of you might be, what are those blue-haired creatures? So there's two very simple, well, one of them is a little bit more complicated, but one is really, really, really simple, that the research shows that great teams have in common. Any guesses? Okay, I'm going to continue. I just want to make sure we keep to time, but if you do have guesses, put them in the chat. Here, oh, shared goals. Oh, Nancy, good guess. Okay. Oh, that's also what Pamercy says, shared goal or purpose. Actually, yeah, it's not even as complex as that. One of them is team members talk roughly the same amount. That's it. Isn't that amazing? Emily, diverse teams for better representation and understanding. Yes, absolutely. That's key in terms of what teams achieve for sure. But this, and by the way, you can get more information at this link here, which I put in the chat. But team members talk roughly equally, which actually speaks to your point about diversity and inclusion, Amelia, right? Because the more voices that are heard around the table, the better, right? So that is our first thing. The second thing is they have higher average, social intelligence, I should say there, sorry. So they're able to read the room. They're able to recognize and pick up how people are feeling. Are people feeling included? Are they feeling okay? So let's do a little test here. How is this person feeling? Is this person terrified, upset, arrogant, or annoyed? Let me know in the chat. This comes from that book, by the way. So is this person terrified, upset, arrogant, or annoyed? Okay, we've got worried, upset, upset. Yeah, upset. This person is upset. Okay, we'll do one more. What about this person? Is this person indifferent, embarrassed, skeptical, or dispirited? This one might be a little harder for folks. Is this person indifferent, embarrassed, skeptical, or dispirited? Okay, so we've got a couple of skepticals, we've got an indifferent. And notice if you're reading a person as, say, dispirited, but they're actually embarrassed, that's very different how you would treat them, right? Okay, this person is skeptical. This person is skeptical. Um, so I'm gonna now I have a little I'm a little nervous doing this because I wanted to be able to share like how do you improve your emotional intelligence, your social emotional intelligence. So I wanted to find a cool way for you to be able to do that. So I found this app, and it's called Gleam. You do pay for it, but it does have a 7-day free trial. And I tried it out and I was really impressed. It's pretty cool. The thing that makes me embarrassed is how they describe this app. Their marketing team really needs to be better because seriously, you can see this for yourself if you click on it. Oh, it's embarrassing. They talk about it as a better way to help you date girls, a better way to help you date girls. So, A, just wildly inappropriate on so many different levels. And I don't know, maybe they were trying to be ironic given the whole purpose is to improve your social emotional intelligence. But it was pretty cool if you open it up and it's you can do these little micro learning pieces. Okay, so those are our two things, right? So are your members talking roughly equally? And can you work on your social emotional intelligence? Okay, the last one is our life lenses. So this is a tool that I designed many years ago and trademarked. And I'm just going to play you this quick clip here. Okay, I'm not going to expose you to 4 minutes and 12 seconds. This video is 4 minutes and 12 seconds. What do you think happens at the end? So she wants it closed, he wants it open. What's the result? Any guesses? And by the way, this is an example of life in our extreme world these days, right? So things are black or white, they're right or wrong, they're hot or cold, versus thinking what I call gray thinking, putting things on a continuum. Emily says they change seats, they laugh. These are all, or they speak, they get off the bus. These are great suggestions, and you're all beautifully looking at ways to resolve this conflict. It doesn't end. They do this for 4 minutes and 12 seconds. Like, how awful is that, right? How awful is that? So, that's one of the reasons why I designed the life lenses. So it's a way to look at what comes onto your radar easily, naturally, and comfortably. You can take the assessment for free on my website. I've given you the link there. And I do team workshops where we look at the makeup of the team, which is really fun. Because everyone looks at the world a little differently, right? So two of the lenses, there's 8 of them. 2 of them are heart and head lenses. So a simple technique is when you're asking for feedback from your team, use both of these terms. How are you feeling? And what are you thinking? How are you feeling? You'll default to that if you're a heart lens. And what are you thinking? You'll default to that if you're a head lens. So you can look at all of the lenses and do an assessment. You'll get a very customized report that will give you results for free, so you can check that out. And that brings us to the end of the skills. So, high 10 even. Congratulations. We went through 7 skills. So these are things that are designed to really either help struggling teams, or help teams that are really already knocking it out of the park, keep it there. So we had the will skill, the dating, the motivation style, the seeing, doing, and hearing, the ICU, the individual, cultural, and universal, the 2 things that great teams do, and the life lenses team. So, as we finish off our time together today, we also talked about your typical response that you typically portray. Is it the fight, free, flees, or fawn? And really trying to insert some time to reflect and review before that response happens. Looking for patterns, protecting yourself. Uh, sorry. And approaching folks with curiosity and then those tools. So we did a lot, a lot, a lot. And I'm really, really grateful for your time. Thank you so much. I hope that you have found some things that resonated. Please don't forget to share that link with folks to help others join our community. Also, if you are UN staff and you want to get access to, or you want this to count towards your professional development, you can be sure to sign that attendance sheet, which I put the link in the chat. And then I would love, love, love if you join us April 16th. That's our next roundtable. And that's on using AI to really customize your learning in some really cool, fun ways. In 2 minutes, you'll get a copy of the PowerPoint deck in your email, so watch for that. And then on Monday, you'll get the workbook, and it has a time-stamped video, so you'll be able to see the replay and scoot ahead to the part maybe that specifically that you're looking for. And also you'll get the audio recording as well. So I'd love to know, what will you do with your learning? What's one way that you're going to, one thing that you're going to use from the workshop today? What's one thing that you're going to use? And speaking of that, I really want to, it's one thing to show up for a workshop. It's a whole other thing to apply and use that learning. So beside the PowerPoint deck and the workbook, at each roundtable, I also curate all the resources and put them in one place. So I use a tool called Digo, and I've put all the links there. So you can check out that link there. Okay, so one thing you're going to do with your learning, Chloe says, remember, not everyone feels the same as me in terms of taking in information, collaborating, and try to adjust styles. Yes, yes, yes. That's so great, Chloe. It's kind of it in a nutshell, right? Is understanding that not everyone's like you, and how do we adjust? Ligia says, think about different forms to collaborate, visual, audio, kinesthetic. Yes, that's so good. Diana says, really love the ICU tip. I will intentionally use that. Great. That's so great. Okay. As the other ones are coming in, just a reminder that in May, I'll be teaching a public speaking course for UN staff. The dates, we'll get the dates sorted pretty soon, but you can email Yunnan HR Learning to get more information. And if you are not a UN staff person, I've had a bunch of people ask me. So I think we're going to try to get one going in April. So if you are not a UN staff and you're interested and want more information, just send me an email and I'll put you on the list and share information with you. Okay. So thank you for your time. Don't hesitate to reach out if you want more information about the Transformative Trainers Academy. If you'd like to talk to me about doing a workshop for your team, I would be so happy to chat with you. Thank you for your time. Stay creative, stay well, stay safe, and most of all, keep learning. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you, and I hope to see you next month.